This documentary is likely the first part of a series that is currently, for the most part, unpredictable in length. Not quite sure how many parts I might end up having to it, but I know I'm going to continue on making document films in regards to this topic, talking about it, sharing news clips, research I do, along with footage I get from local parks, and etc. So keep an eye out for this docu-series.
Alright, so I want to say a little something here. I heavily believe that the national parks and the state parks here soon are going to be taking a lot more heavy hits than they have been taking lately. You have all these rangers losing their jobs, employees losing their jobs through the state parks and national parks. You got a lot of budget cuts going on. They're already having budget cuts hitting for the past few years since Trump's last round. They're going to be taking more here soon. I think a lot of these public lands, these national parks, these state parks, I don't know exactly as of right now. Today is 2/26/2025 as of me filming this segment of video. I don't know exactly what executive orders have been signed within the past couple days. I'm going to look into that here more in a little bit. But I believe there's going to be a lot more going on with these parks. And I highly believe that all employment is going to be cut out, and that these public lands are eventually going to be bought out. These preservation acts are going to be, most of them, if not all of them, are going to be made void. And they're going to be, it's all a money and a power game right now with Trump and Elon. With some of them, if there wasn't some preservation act going on currently, or there hadn't been a previous one, then they would have been made, some of these public lands would have been made launching pads for Elon's little rocket projects a long time ago. But I'm going to do a little bit of research and share some updates with you.
They re-graveled this recently. That was nothing but holy dirt going through, which was kind of nice, but put a lot of new gravel down recently.
President Donald Trump signed the Great American Outdoors Act at a ceremony at the White House today. The bill was passed with bipartisan support. The president called it the most significant contribution to our parks since President Theodore Roosevelt. The law provides billions of dollars to rebuild and repair ailing national parks across the country.
The legislation I'm signing today builds on my administration's unwavering commitment to conserving and the grandeur and the splendor of God's creation. This is truly God's creation.
The law also addresses a maintenance backlog on federal public lands with $9.5 billion in funding over 5 years. The VA Inspector General's
Apparently, a few people are vying to become Donald Trump's Interior Secretary. That speculative list includes oil company CEO Harold Hamm, Arizona Governor Jan Brewer, and, according to a Politico source, former Alaskan Governor Sarah Palin. But what the Department of the Interior will look like under a Republican-controlled Congress and presidency is still up in the air. And some critics are particularly worried about our national parks. Rumors about what Republicans might do with the national park system have been circulating since earlier this year. Trump is on record saying he's opposed to transferring or selling federal land, but a senior campaign advisor of his told MSNBC in April that part of Trump's plan to lower the national debt would involve selling U.S. assets. And in July, a committee within the Republican Party voted to make the return of federal lands to the states a party platform. It led some people to think the GOP wanted to get rid of national parks and national forests altogether. But the proposal actually isn't that simple. For one thing, the platform only calls for certain federally controlled public lands to be returned to the states, but it doesn't specify what those certain lands are. The Trump administration would have to overturn or weaken the Antiquities Act, which Teddy Roosevelt signed into law in 1906, to remove protections already extended to existing national parks. So while it's possible some federal lands could be sold off, the national parks are probably safe. For Newsy, I'm Grant Sunison.
So those two pictures I just shared are screenshots I took. Mostly for future reference for myself so I could go back and view them again later on. Started to watch both of them, but they were more or less reference to me so I could go back and watch them later on, because I'm going to continue on in this series a little bit. I'm going to make at least 2 or 3 parts to this and do some sort of update series kind of as I go along. Not exactly going to do it all in one go. Because one thing I don't like is people doing documentaries on stuff like this and trying to do it all in one go and acting like they know everything right off the bat, and then they, shit changes later on. But if you look at the dates on the screenshots of when they were uploaded, there was one that was uploaded 4 years ago and one that was uploaded 8 years ago, and I took those screenshots. Today is January, February, March. Today is the 5th of March, 2025. So I took those screenshots about 3 days ago. So it's, been 4 years one, 8 years the other. And there's been a little bit of back and forth between, what Trump's wanting to do with all this shit and what he's been proposing, etc., what people have been reporting, what they're putting as headlines, etc.
It's been a lot of back and forth, and a lot of this shit, I'm all for saving money. But a lot of this isn't even Trump's propositions. I think it's more or less Elon Musk pressuring him into being like, okay, this is what we're going to do the budget cuts on. Because Elon's more or less the one pushing forth and doing all the idealism behind where are we going to cut the money, where are we going to cut the money. And really in the long run, it's not so much cutting the money. It's how are they going to save, how is he seeing that he's going to save him and his little billionaire buddies up in Washington some money. It's how are they going to save themselves money, not how are they going to save themselves, secondly, money, but primarily save you money. It's how are they going to save themselves money, which when you do budget cuts, whether it's you or whatever scale it's on, ideally that's what you're doing. You're finding a way to save money. But Elon's getting all excited, and he's not reading the room, he's not reading the social cues, and he's not understanding which ways they need to be concerned about cutting the money. And I believe in the long run, they're going to cut down 100% on those public lands, those national parks. And totally annihilate the idea of that, them being even existent as they have been or as they are. And that they're eventually going to be one of three things: dig, 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 drill, 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 or they're going to be timber placements, or some of them might even be one of two things. I believe they might be split between private prisons, because it's all about real estate. It's how they want to apply the real estate. That's all prison system is, incarceration system is. It's a real estate business. Or it's going to be another mixture of launch pad zones for Elon, his little playground areas. Or it's going to be chemical testing facilities. And they're going to eventually try to cut down these public areas, these public parks, and Elon's going to try to make these places his own little playground. And what's sad is there are some people who genuinely are concerned about this and genuinely care about it. But there's a lot of people who are also keyboard warriors and will say, oh, you can't do this, can't do that, make a little headline, 2-paragraph blogs, and then watch it happen. So short and basic thought process I have on some of it. At the Fiery Gizzard Trail starting down that way, it's a 13-mile trail. Pretty much it starts down there, goes way down. I'd say about half of it, close to half of it, goes way down kind of that way and wraps around, and then comes all the way around up around here. It's about a 13-mile trail. Starts down there. This main trail going down here, it has a large staircase going all the way down. They're all wooden, going down about 75 feet here. Then it's all dirt and stone steps. I almost said dome steps. Stone steps going down from there. But also you got this spot right here. It's not an official trail, but it looks like enough people have been down through here where it kind of formed one a little bit. I think for the hell of it, it'd be fun to go down through there one day and just kind of see where all little side spots it goes. When you come off the bridge and you go off to the left, you got this trail that comes down. You hike up, you got a lot of roots and rocks you go over, and on down that way there's a lot of cliffs. You get closer to cliffs like that, these boulders. And the further you go down, the higher in elevation you go. And actually this area right here, those go all the way down quite a bit. It's really a popular area for rock climbing also. I'm gonna go right there and film a little bit. Actually not been up to that spot before, and I've actually been to the falls here at least a couple dozen times, but never been right there. So I'm going to go up and film kind of inside there. Tell you what, this part right here looked a lot deeper from down there than it does up here. That's what he said. But that crack up there, you can tell it goes way farther back. So this right here is just where it's pieces have broken off and fielded in. But that goes way back in there. Be a nice view from the top of that.
I don't think today, but one of these days I'll go up there and get a couple shots from up there.